What's up, guys? We are back with another Star Wars Figuarts review, taking a look at another one of the Episode 9 figures. We're taking a look at Rey today. We're taking a look at her newest clothing incarnation in Figuarts, and we've got her here, of course, in our standard Figuarts packaging for Star Wars. You've got the figure in the window, so this is a retail release, so she comes in window box packaging. You've got a product shot on the side, and then the back of the package has a bunch of product shots showcasing the figure. We've got Dio on there, as well as a shot of all her accessories. So let's do it. Let's pull her out and take a look. And here she is out of the package, our Episode 9 Rey figure. So we've got, this is our second Rey in the Figuarts line. We've got one from Last Jedi, and now we've got this one, and I'm a big fan of the way this particular design looks. I like this outfit. I like the very, sand dune, Tatooine-esque style of garb that she wears. I like the white. I like how everything is... And here she is out of the package, our SH Figuarts Episode 9 Rey. And obviously we've already gotten a Black Series figure of this one, so we'll be doing a comparison. But I'm a big fan of this look for Rey in general. Obviously by now, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I like the way she looks. So I'm a big fan of just the idea behind this getup, the way it looks on her, the color scheme, the whole deal. It's obviously really muted, but I do think it looks pretty cool on her. So let's jump in, see how she moves around. She's kind of standard for the line, really. Nothing too surprising here. So you've got a head that can go backwards a pretty good bit, and she can look down really, really far thanks to a very versatile neck. You've got full rotation, and then you've got tilt as well. Arms go out, they rotate at the shoulder. There is a butterfly in there, small one, but it's there. You can get a double jointed elbow going on here, so pretty good range of motion there. And then you've got your ball hinges at the wrist, so just move that joint around and you can kind of shimmy it in multiple directions. Pretty solid range of motion though. She has a ball peg down in the waist, so she goes backwards and forwards and side to side, but only a little bit. It's mostly because everything seems to be so tightly put together here. There is a waist twist down in there though, so you can sort of move her underneath all of this. It doesn't help a great deal, but it doesn't hurt either. You've got a drop down joint at the legs. Legs go out, they kick forward and backwards. You can, of course, break your leg and rotate it if you want. There isn't a whole lot of give there, only just a little bit. Watch it when you're obviously doing what I just did. You can kick back that knee. It's pretty decent. It's a little bit more than 90. It's a standard Figuarts knee though. And then you've got your rotation down at the ankle. You've got a little bit of rocker. There is a little bit of hinge as well. And then you've also got toe hinges. So she does move pretty decently. Nothing too surprising, but I haven't had any real issues posing her either. Now, as far as the aesthetics on this figure, I am, again, like I said, I'm a big fan of this look for Rey. I'm a fan of this outfit. It just kind of works for me, and I like it. And it is very similar to the Black Series. The only real difference is that she doesn't have the backpack. And we'll talk about a few other minor things when we do a comparison. But this is a pretty solid figure. She doesn't have tons and tons of paint on her. There is a little bit of a wash on her sashes here. You've got some paint for her gauntlets and her wraps, for the holster, for her belt and her buckle. And, she just is a lot of whites for the most part, or whitish type of colors. I do like just the general look here. I like the fact that we have rubbery sashes instead of soft goods of any kind. I think it would just work better for this. There is one thing that kind of jumps out at me when I look at this figure, and now that I see it, I can't really unsee it, and it's likely because of the fact that there is some paint for some skin tones on this figure. The hood on the back is a removable piece, and for whatever reason they decided to make it so that this chest piece here is also part of it, so it's painted, and it looks kind of weird. It doesn't match the neck, it doesn't match the face, it doesn't match the arms or the hands or the legs. It's not a huge thing, but it's still kind of a thing. So you've got that. Otherwise, you've got a few other little things on the figure. So you've got like her holster here for her pistol. You've got a spot for a lightsaber that is unignited, of course. You've got some boots down here, which honestly have a really nice bit of texture on them. They have a little more sculpt than you might expect, but they've also got one weird thing too. So Figuarts have toe articulation, and that means they have a pin there. For some reason, they decided to put a pin that's not brown in it. It's gray. It kind of matches the pants, which is really weird. It definitely sticks out like a sore thumb, too. Granted, it's at the bottom of the figure, so you might not see it right away, but it definitely sticks out once you see it. It's kind of hard to not see it anymore. Of course, maybe the biggest thing when most folks want to talk about Figuarts is the faces, the photoreal, photo printing, the sculpt. How do these stack up, especially obviously in a comparison to Black Series? And I think that they've got the likeness for Daisy Ridley down pretty well here. I like just about everything that's going on with this one. I like the hair sculpt. I like the buns that are in the back. I like the overall expression that she has. She's not anything more than maybe just a little bit stern, kind of ready to throw down almost. So you can kind of throw this figure into a number of different scenarios. Face printing is crisp and clean and centered, and it's not so heavy that it kind of takes away from the color of the flesh, and it matches the neck still. So I think it's a pretty solid head sculpt. And again, I think they've got the likeness down pretty good. I'm really happy with this one. Now for accessories, you've got a pretty solid spread when it comes to this figure. So you've got 4 additional sets of hands for 8 total, and then of course 10 total overall because we've got the 2 fist hands on her here. So you've got a pair of open palm, flat hands almost. You've got lightsaber gripping hands. You've got an extra set of lightsaber gripping hands for a 2-handed pose, and then you've also got trigger finger hands. She does obviously come with weaponry. So you've got the lightsaber hilt that pegs onto her waist. You've got her gun that actually fits into the holster, and we've seen this before, but it looks really good. There's some nice silver paint on it with a little bit of black accents. Standard stuff, nothing I really plan on ever using with this figure, but you've got it. You've got the actual lightsaber with the ignited blade. Great detail, great sculpt on the hilt on this guy. Fantastic piece. And then you've got her telltale staff with the strap. Pretty good sculpt, nice size to it, good paint applications. She also comes with Dio, and he's got a little stand down here that you can pop him in so he sits in place. He's not as articulated as the Black Series release. He doesn't have moving antenna, but the wheel spins and then the head turns, and I think in general the sculpt looks a little cleaner, paint looks a little better on this guy. He's not as dirty though, as is kind of the case with Figuarts. He's pretty clean, but I think he looks really good. He'll go alongside the smattering of other Figuarts droids that I've got. But the big thing that we've got is the swappable hood, and this thing is... well, this thing's really weird, and honestly, I'm not very happy with it because I'm either doing it very wrong or it is just a huge pain to do it. So basically, what you have to do is you pop the folded down hood off, and it comes with this fleshy patch attached. So you pop that off, take the head off, pop this off, take the whole neck off, and then you can pop this back on with the head inside of the hood. And I just don't think it's very elegant. I really feel like we should have just had an extra head with the hood attached to it. That would have made things a lot easier because really this is way too cumbersome because you've got to get this fleshy patch just right, and I cannot get it to sit just right. There's always a little gap here. When the head is in there, I've always got a little gap. If the head's not in there, it sits just fine. Not to mention the fact that it's kind of a pain to get the head out, and it's just really weird. I'm not a big fan of it. I wasn't really planning on using it to begin with. It's kind of one of those things that it's cool to get, but at the same time, I probably wasn't going to use it. But when it's that difficult to use, I'm probably never going to use it. And then just like with the Sith Trooper that I recently reviewed, we do have a stand for this figure that comes as kind of a bonus item. So instead of the First Order, you've got the Resistance logo done up with a blue stand, and I really like this one. You know, depending on how you get a hold of your figure, you might not get this one. If you're buying it on the aftermarket, there's probably a good chance you're not going to get it either down the road. So this is something that came as kind of a bonus pack-in, but it's a Tamashii stand base with the 3 pegs like standard, and then you've got an arm as well in the claw and the whole deal to actually hoist your figure up. So not a huge thing, really, not something that comes in the box, but a nice little bonus item. Now, of course, we do have to compare the Figuarts to the Black Series, and I'm pretty happy with this Black Series figure. But after having them side by side, I still think that the Figuarts has kind of edged this one out for one big reason. And it's something that folks had mentioned in my Black Series review that I guess I never really noticed. But the Black Series head is a little too round, whereas this one seems to be a little bit more proportional. The figures in general are honestly kind of similar in many, many ways. The one bigger difference outside of the faces is that this Rey comes with the backpack, whereas this one does not. Of course, this has the hood option, but the hood is kind of a nightmare for me. Otherwise, though, I mean, this Black Series is still more than good when it comes to this line. But I think for my money and just my general, enjoyment factor, I think the Figuarts is going to get it, but either one would be a solid entry in your collection. So overall, this is a pretty solid figure. She does have one big annoyance for me, like I mentioned, when it comes to that hood situation, and I'm not so sure. Maybe it's me that's the problem. I'm not sure. I can only tell you my experience. I'm just not a big fan of it. Otherwise, though, I think she looks really good. She moves pretty well, and she has a pretty solid array of accessories. There's really not anything here that I think I'm missing, even though she doesn't have the backpack and the Black Series does. I don't know what the backpack's really for right now, so it's not a huge thing for me. Otherwise, though, I'd say she is a really solid entry in the Figuarts line, and I'm really glad to have this one. It makes me wish that I had ordered the Kylo Ren. Now I feel like I need him more than ever because I did skip on that one, so we'll probably remedy that soon enough. So that's going to do it for this look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Episode 9 Rey. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.